Assalamualaikum dear students. Welcome to your physics class. I am your physics teacher Muhammad Salam Khalid, and today it's our 13th online lecture regarding unit number 5, gravitation. In our previous lecture we have discussed about the gravitational field, and we have defined that the region around the earth in which the magnitude of the gravitational field can be affected is known as gravitational field, while the force of gravity acting on a body per unit mass is known as gravitational field strength. And defining the mass of earth, we have calculated the value. We have defined a formula using universal law of gravitation, and we have determined a value that was equal to 6 into 10 to the power 24 kilogram, and this was the mass of the earth in which we are living. Our today's topic is variation of g with altitude. As we know that gravitational force is the force with which earth is attracting every object towards its center. If an object is lying on a surface of a earth as shown in figure 1 of this slide, then this object is exerting a kind of force on the earth, that is its weight. Moreover, this object is under the action of gravitational force, and this gravitational force is acting on this object by the earth. We have discussed this action and reaction of these forces in detail in our previous lecture. So according to the formula we got from the universal law of gravitation, while determining the mass of earth, we have get the value of g, that is gravity, that g is equals to capital G me divided by r square, where capital G is the gravitational constant and me is the mass of the earth. So in other words, we can say that gravitational constant is a constant value, mass of earth is a constant value, as mass is a constant term. So the value of g is directly related to the radius, and in this equation value of g is inversely proportional to square of the radius, that is from the center of the earth. Now the same object, if it is moved to a certain height as shown in figure number 2 of this slide, that it is moved to a height of h, then the formula of g will now change from g to gh, means this is the value of g at certain height, and its value will be equals to capital G me divided by r plus h whole square, where r is the radius of earth and h is the height of this object. Okay ji. So we have defined that gravitational force is actually the force that is responsible to attract the object towards its center, and this force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the mass object and the earth, center of the earth. So gravitational force increases when object is moving towards the earth, and it is decreasing when object is moving away from the earth. If you are throwing an object in an upward direction while standing on the surface of this earth, so when the object is moving in an upward direction, its value of g is decreasing, and when the same object after attaining certain height moves back or comes back towards the earth, the value of g increases in this case. Okay ji. Now there is a question for this, that the question number 4 is, explain how the value of g varies with altitude. So you have to define the value of g with altitude. Then first you have to define the altitude, that altitude is the height of an object or a place above the sea level, and the value of g is greater at sea level than at the hills. Then in explanation we have defined the formula, that F is equals to, again from the formula of universal law of gravitation, F is equals to G MEM divided by R plus H whole square, and F is equals to W and W is equals to mg. We have done this equations in detail in our previous lecture. So comparing equation number 1 and 2, we get mg is equals to capital G small m capital Me divided by R plus H whole square. So small m, as it is present on both sides of the equation, so it will be cancelled, and we will get g is equals to capital G me divided by r plus h whole square, and this was exactly the same proof which we have discussed in our previous slide. So in conclusions, we have to conclude that according to the above equation, we come to know that at a height equal to the one earth radius above the surface of the earth, g becomes 1/4 of its value, means g will be equals to 1/4 of this value, as it is g is inversely proportional to r square. So similarly, at a distance of 2 earth radius, the above earth surface, the value of g becomes 1/9 of its value of g, and you have to draw figure 5.5 from your book with this question. The next is artificial satellites. So before discussing artificial satellites, let us do or define that what is a satellite. A satellite is an object that is revolving around a planet, and there are many satellites in this universe. Some of them are natural satellites, while some of them are artificial satellites. So in short, we can define a satellite as an object that is revolving around the planet. This planet may be any planet like sun, moon, earth, Mars, etc. Sorry, moon is not a planet, it's a star, and it's a kind of artificial satellite, as it is always moving towards the or moving around the earth. So defining the artificial satellite, the moon revolves around the earth, so moon is a natural satellite of the earth. Scientists have sent many objects into the space, and some of these objects revolve around the earth. These are known as artificial satellites. The purpose of these satellites is to carry out the geographical positions of the earth. The purpose of these satellites is to consider or notice down the temperature difference that occurs with different variations when the earth revolves around the sun in its solar path. So this is a typical diagram of a satellite, and it is moving or revolving around the earth, and it is definitely using and for capturing different images for different information that we need. Okay ji. Then there comes a question for the satellites, that define a satellite and also explain artificial satellites. So first of all, you have to define a satellite as an object that revolves around the planet, and artificial satellite is an object that revolves around the planet like earth, and the best example of artificial satellite is moon. Moreover, we have to define a geostationary orbit. That what is a geostationary orbit? So a geostationary orbit is defined as a communication satellite takes 24 hours to complete their one complete revolution around the earth. So as earth it completes its one revolution in 24 hours, so these communication satellites appears to be stationary with respect to earth. आपको ये बताया गया है इसमें कि कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट जो होते हैं वो अर्थ के इर्द गिर्द जो मूव कर रहे होते हैं वो 24 आवर्स लेते हैं वन कंप्लीट राउंड ट्रिप में, मतलब एक पॉइंट से अगेन फुल अर्थ के मूव करते हैं जब, तो उनको 24 आवर्स लगते हैं, और अर्थ खुद जो है तो वो 24 आवर्स में वन कंप्लीट रोटेशन करती है। इसलिए हमें वो जियो स्टेशनरी वो सैटेलाइट्स होते हैं जो हमें देखने में वो होते तो मोशन में हैं, लेकिन देखने में वो आपको स्टेशनरी पोजीशन में लग रहे होते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि जितना जैसे जब वो मूव कर रहे होते हैं वैसे वैसे अर्थ भी मूव कर रहा होता है। सो दोनों के दरमियान में डिस्टेंस फिक्स रहता है, लेकिन वो दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ साथ एक ही वक्त में इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम इंटरवल में मूव ऑन कर रहे होते हैं अराउंड अ फिक्स्ड पाथ। सो दिस इज़ नोन एज जियो स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट। Okay ji. Now if you are facing any difficulty in our today's lecture, you are free to ask. Please note down the question number 4 and question number 5 in your neat loose sheets or in your neat notebook, and share the pictures with me. Inshallah, in our tomorrow's lecture we will discuss or we will define the velocity of this artificial satellite, and it's the last topic of this unit number 5, gravitation. In our coming week we will do or discuss the exercise and the numerical problems of this chapter. So in our tomorrow's lecture, this chapter is obviously complete, and from the next week inshallah we will continue chapter its exercise and numerical problems, etc. Thank you and have a nice day.